A very good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News on TV1. We're coming to you live and direct from the Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. First, let's start off with a look at the stories that made it to your headlines this afternoon. People take to the streets of Kota Deniyawa demanding water. Heavy traffic congestion reported along Colombo-Kurunegala Road. Agrarian associations explain the cause behind the increase in price of rice.
हाल किलो का रुपया 68කට වගේ. ඇයි ඒ හාල් කිලෝ එක රුපියල් 100 ගණන් වලට වික්කේ? 90 ගණන් වලට වික්කේ? කාගේද මේ මාන්සිය?
15 students of the Peradeniya University arrested on charges of ragging. 17-year-old stabbed to death in Thalava. Now, starting off with your lead story this afternoon, the bodies of 8 individuals who lost their lives when their boat capsized off the coast of Katakurunda in Kaluthara yesterday have been handed over to their relatives. Police said that the bodies were handed over to the relatives last night after conducting post-mortem examinations. The post-mortem examination for the other 3 victims are scheduled to be conducted today. The victims were residents of Beruwala and Kaluthara. 17 other individuals who were on board the capsized vessel are continuing to receive treatment at the Beruwala and Kaluthara hospitals. Lifeguard consultant to the police, SSP SH Chulasiri, said that overloading was the cause for the boat to capsize yesterday. The SSP said that more lives could have been saved if the passengers aboard the vessel were wearing life jackets. Meanwhile, police media spokesperson SSP Priyantha Jaikodi notes that steps will be taken against those responsible for the accident in order to ensure that such accidents do not reoccur. The spokesperson notes that the individual who drove the boat is currently receiving treatment at the hospital. Now, up next is Crime Watch. A 17-year-old was murdered after being stabbed with a sharp weapon in Nabadavavapitia in Thalava. The police say that 2 others had also sustained injuries as a result. The deceased was a resident of Thalava and reports suggest that a personal dispute may have led to the murder. A suspect has been arrested in connection to the murder. The suspect who sustained injuries is currently receiving treatment at the Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital under police custody. A person who was found with lacerations in Vennapur, Gaul, died upon admission to the hospital. The deceased was identified as a 37-year-old resident of Kochikade. Reports have emerged that a brawl had broken out between 2 factions at the location. The suspects in connection with the incident are still at large. 15 second-year students of the University of Peradeniya have been arrested for allegedly ragging a group of students from the agriculture faculty. The 15 suspects are second-year students of the university's agriculture faculty. The suspects had allegedly ragged 8 first-year students from the agriculture faculty at the residence of one of the students. The 8 first-year students who sustained injuries as a result are currently receiving treatment in hospital. Now, still in local news, in the backdrop of the current situation that has befallen the farmer communities, Politburo member of the JVP KD Lalkantha emphasized the need for a farmer-friendly government. He made the statement at the Ampara district meeting. Farmers marched to the Ampara town hall holding placards before the meeting commenced.
We miladi ganna siyaluma dena balapatra tibe yutu kenek wiya yutui.
Everyone who purchases paddy should possess a permit, but there are many people in the country who purchase paddy without a permit. The police does not arrest them. When a boy goes from his place to the next door shop in a bike without a helmet, the police catch him. If there is a legitimate argument that says it is illegal to purchase paddy without a permit, then the law should be implemented. The only solution is a farmer and labour-friendly government. There is no other solution. We will see whether a platform will be made for a farmer labour-friendly government at least by 2020. Paddy was initially purchased for 28 rupees. It was pegged between 28 and 34 rupees. If you consider the paddy being purchased at 34 rupees, then rice could be sold for 62 rupees and 40 cents. The retail price for a kilo of rice could be 68 rupees, but the government wants to sell rice for 80 rupees. A kilo of rice could be sold for 80 rupees. Why was it sold off for 120 rupees? Why was there a need to sell it for 90 rupees? Who is toiling for this? That is the situation. Who is working towards this? How do people who do not work in the fields, at least for a day, end up becoming millionaires and billionaires? The ceremony was held yesterday to felicitate entrepreneurs in the Kegol district. The event took place in Variagoda, Alawa, under the auspices of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe.
2015 වෙනකොට යුද්ධයෙන් පස්සේ අපේ ණය දෙගුණයක් බවට පත් වෙලා තිබුණා. අපේ දේශීය විදේශ ණය ගෙවන්න බැරුව තමයි අන්තිමටම 2014ට මේ රට ආවේ.
By 2015, our post-war debt doubled. We were in a situation where we were unable to pay back the loans obtained both locally and internationally. That is why an election was held. They obtained massive loans now. The repayment period for these loans have commenced. Now we can't do anything because we are simply repaying the loans. We have to pay loans for the next 10 years. We have to pay a sum of $32.19 billion in loans. We cannot collapse like Greece did. We need to control these payments and take the country forward. We can no longer hope for development based on loans.
3219ක් ගෙවන්න වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඒ ණය බර දාලා ග්‍රීසිය වාගේ අපිට වැටෙන්නත් බෑ. එහෙනම් අපේ අභියෝගය උනේ ඒ ණය පාලනය කළා අපි කොහොමද මේ රට ඉදිරියට ගෙනියන්නේ? ඉතින් රජේ ණය අරගෙන තව දුරට මේක දියුණු කරන්න බෑ.
Now still in news from the political arena, parliamentarian Vijita Herath commented on the economy during a public rally held in the Mathura area. Ranil Wickremesinghe's best disciple, former Central Bank Governor Arjun Mahendran, committed the largest financial fraud in Sri Lankan history. We suffered a loss of 55 billion rupees because of the fraud. Ravi Karunanayake forwarded a proposal to Parliament to provide vehicles on rent for 700,000 rupees to parliamentarians who are not ministers. They tell us to tighten our belts, and then in turn they commit fraud at the central bank. They commit fraud through coal deals, and they are continuing to push the country into a bad situation. What are the results of these actions? Rice is priced at 100 rupees, coconut at 80, coconut oil at 280. They can't even impose a proper controlled price. The Gazette says rice should be 70 rupees, but we can't find rice at that price anywhere.
70ට දෙන්න කිව්වා. නමුත් අපි කඩේට ගියාම කොහෙවත් රුපියල් 70ට හාල් නැහැ.
A group of residents from the Kotadaniyava area staged a protest blocking the Colombo-Gampaha road, citing issues relating to the water supply in the area. A correspondent in the area notes that heavy traffic congestion was reported along the Colombo-Gampaha road due to the protest. The protest was staged against a number of tube wells which were set up in the area by a private company. The demonstrators charged that the tube wells had drained out vital water sources. The joint opposition convened a media briefing yesterday. Member of Parliament Bandula Gunawarthana expressed his views regarding former Central Bank Governor Arjun Mahendran. His personal expenses are around 660 million. Nobody is questioning what would have happened if it was not taken. They are scared of Arjun Mahendran. The former governor is a friend of the Prime Minister. He has gained a profit of 10 billion through perpetual treasuries. The audit report regarding his personal expenses has been submitted. It is in millions. One person has spent around 60 to 70 millions on personal expenses. In comparison, ministers are being questioned about lakhs. Now, still in local news, the Ministry of Health says that investigations are underway to apprehend opticians who sell optical lenses above the recommended price. Issuing a communique, the Ministry of Health said that officials from the National Drug Regulatory Authority are conducting the said investigations, adding that legal action will be taken against individuals who violate the recently issued guidelines on selling optical lenses. On the 17th of February, the government reduced the prices of 38 types of optical lenses.
That's it! Oi! And he hits it through cover. And look at the celebration.
News First, in dialogue with legendary cricketer Kumar Sangakkara. Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. on TV1.
And with that, we conclude lunchtime news on TV1 for the day. To follow details of these stories and more, you can log on to our website, www.newsfirst.lk. I'm Charlene Benedict for the News First team. Your latest news update will come your way at 1:55. Good day.